Hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for attending today. So my name is Jason Lehman. I'll be the host for today's webinar. I'm the marketing team lead here at Fishbowl Solutions, and for today's discussion we're going to be talking about what we learned at Oracle OpenWorld 2015 around the cloud, Oracle WebCenter 12c, and collaboration. So I'm very happy to be joined by three of my esteemed colleagues here at Fishbowl Solutions. Jerry A., Senior Solution Architect, George Sokol, Fishbowl's Business Development Director, and John Sim, Fishbowl's Senior User Experience Consultant. These gentlemen are listed here in the order they'll speak, and Jerry will be talking to all of you about the Oracle Cloud and a little bit on Oracle Web Center Portal 12c. George will be covering what's new in Oracle Web Center Content 12c, and then John will share with you some of the new design components and frameworks for front-end user design. John will also discuss and demo how we have at Fishbowl have already used some of these components to build an application that syncs content down from cloud instances to Web Center. And this is our agenda for today's discussion. I'll start off by giving you a little background information on Fishbowl Solutions. I'll then provide an overview of the topics that we're going to cover today that we learned while attending Oracle OpenWorld 2015. As mentioned, I'll then hand it off to Jerry for cloud discussion. Jerry will then hand off to George for Oracle Web Center 12c review, and John will follow up and end today's call with the discussion around UX design considerations for Web Center and other Oracle applications. At the very end, I'm going to include some additional Oracle OpenWorld resources that you may be interested in. So with that, a little bit about Fishbowl Solutions. We're a recognized leader in the Oracle Web Center space. We've been doing this for over 15 years, designing, implementing, and supporting enterprise content management and portal systems to customers throughout North America and EMEA. This includes delivering value-add software components for Oracle Web Center, with recent successes delivering these products and solutions to hundreds of customers over the last 2 years. Again, we're very proud to be an officially certified Oracle Web Center specialized partner. Fishbowl has been known over 15 years for providing value-add consulting services for Oracle Web Center, and this continues to be the majority of the work we provide for customers. We have experience and expertise in all things Web Center content and portal, and we're also a Google for Work partner, offering Google search solutions for Web Center content and portal customers so they can increase the relevancy of their content searches within their intranets, and customer or partner portals. Really, though, our focus and differentiation is around business solutions we built for enterprise search across business systems, helping customers leverage the Google Search appliance to search across their data systems and return highly relevant results within a Google-like search experience. We also help customers develop an enterprise information strategy with Web Center. This just means that we work with them to analyze and talk about the business systems that they have in place today, what technology they're using, and do an assessment of those, and then provide recommendations based on use cases. We've also invested heavily in value-add software solutions for specific lines of business and use cases with solutions like our Control Center offering, which if you haven't had a chance to review yet, there's a lot of information on our website about this solution, which provides quality document management control for policies and procedures in similar documents. Fishbowl is also the go-to Web Center portal customers that are looking to implement, integrate, and design self-service employee, partner, and customer portals. And lastly, with skill sets and experience that we have in-house, we've been able to leverage the web design best practices and technologies to build mobile-first, highly engaging user experiences for web and mobile applications. So that was a quick few moments on Fishbowl, and with that background, we feel well positioned to share with you what we learned at Oracle OpenWorld 2015. And now, again, we understand and we saw from the poll that most of you were able to take at the beginning, a large majority of you cannot attend this event. So the goal of today's webinar is really to bring you up to speed with what's new with Oracle's cloud offerings, Web Center 12c, and user experience. However, just a quick disclaimer on that is that Oracle OpenWorld is a huge event. You can see from the graphic here that it's attended by some 60,000 people. There are over 2,500 sessions. And we sent a pretty big team to OpenWorld this year. We went to a lot of those sessions. We had a lot of conversations with customers and Oracle product management on these topics. However, just because of the sheer size of the event, we may have missed a few things, so please keep in mind that the content we share today, in a way, has been repurposed from what we learned at Oracle at the event, but it's coming from our perspective. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jerry Aber and let him tell you about what we learned about the cloud.
Thanks, Jason. I'd like to take a few minutes to kind of set the stage on cloud. Cloud is a nebulous term. Kind of like to throw that out there from a humoristic perspective, but there's a few things. If you're talking about the cloud or you're attending this webinar, you have some cloud ideas in mind. And those reasons, those driving factors for you could come from a flexibility and scalability perspective, reducing labor and infrastructure, dealing with automatic updating. Maybe it's a collaborative work environment. There's a half dozen or more reasons why you want to entertain cloud. So as everybody knows, Oracle is very well positioned and very well involved and invested in the cloud space. They have a ton of offerings with respect to where they're sitting, and a few basic understandings when we're using some terminology in case you're brand new to the cloud topics. You'll be hearing terms like platform as a service, software as a service, and infrastructure as a service, and there's many of those as a service kind of components under the Oracle umbrella. Our offerings, or our conversations today, are going to focus on the Oracle terminology and the Oracle features and where they sit. There's a set of hexagons here that two are highlighted that we'll be talking about today, where the majority of things that we be dealing with and the benefits of the cloud platform play in the space we work in and solve the problems that you're looking to solve. And these are basically in the document cloud service space, process cloud service, mobility cloud service, and sites cloud service. Those are the Oracle terminology, and they fit under, when you're visiting the Oracle site, under the platform as a service or infrastructure as a service area. So much of what you're seeing occur in the Oracle space these days when it comes to cloud is around the digital experience and engagement for end users and developers. So they're improving the activity and the consumption of the digital experience as well as the development activity that takes place. So the first one we're going to talk about today is the Documents Cloud Service. There are three primary areas of features and benefits to this solution. It's regarding connections, context, and control. Let's kind of talk about first what is Document Cloud Service, and that's basically the quickest and easiest definition is it's an enterprise file sync and share solution in the Oracle Cloud. And it provides a number of features to deal with file syncing and dealing with documents and the collaboration of documents in the processes you might be dealing with. So today you might be sharing a document with somebody and collaborating a document through email or some file system and updating a document through that process. And I'd like to throw a use case out that we're going to start and extend through talking about each of these services discussions. Imagine yourself dealing with working with somebody on sharing and collaboration of a document. Maybe somebody, your partner or a customer of yours is making a request through forms or documents. And those documents are shared with you via an email solution. 9 times out of 10, that's what's taking place. We see it today in many organizations, and I've been working with a couple of customers recently on improving that solution as they're trying to provide a more targeted user experience for their end users as a result. So a couple of the key items from Documents Cloud Service might be real-time conversations and social collaboration. You might put that document in the system, collaborate on it via the Oracle social network components that are part of Oracle Document Cloud Service. So let's assume you might take that email exchange of that document, put the document in Documents Cloud Service, and collaborate on it in the Oracle social network as part of Documents Cloud Service, opposed to going through the email process and creating multiple versions and putting it on the email chains and sharing it that way. You can invite people into this process through the security controls that are flexible and scalable. The platform architecture is kind of where all this kind of comes into shape. There's three kind of main areas that are of consideration in the platform architecture. That's the embedded UI components, where you can take the UI of Documents Cloud Service and embed it in, say, for example, Portal, which will be a little bit of an example that you'll see towards the end of this webinar today. You have the ability to extend that document cloud service, on-prem, SaaS, and platform as a service, and kind of mix and match, if you will. And the power of the document cloud service is, like a lot of the cloud services capabilities from Oracle, is the APIs through the REST integrations, making it easy, extremely powerful to extend that document cloud service. I worked with a customer just last year before this type of capability was mature and available, where we built that into the portal directly. We now have the ability to put the Documents Cloud service, integrate that with the portal, and provide a mechanism to share and upload documents into your portal solution, and then work them in your back-end processes. Some of the features you see here affect collaboration, information sharing, security and governance, and at the enterprise. The big ones that we see coming up a lot have to do with conversations and annotations, PCS integration, which is Process Cloud Service, which I'll talk about in a moment, and those app accelerators that help get the solution out there quicker. Total cost of ownership is a big driver that we talk about here at Fishbowl, and we try to build a solution, and we want to make sure we drive that with the right set of infrastructure and components available. You'll see elements of WebCenter content on this, and when we are talking about the platform, Documents Cloud Service is basically sitting on top of WebCenter content as an engine. And as you'll see through the 12C topics, you'll see that there's going to be a lot of Document Cloud Service flavor in that. There's an integration point with that. I'm going to take that same example that we talked about moments ago and work over to the Process Cloud Service and expand that conversation, that if you have a document collaboration activity with an external party through the Documents Cloud Service, you might want to extend that and move that into a process for approvals, reviews, and maybe involve the external party as well as your internal resources on this process. So for example, somebody might make a request, pull the form off of Documents Cloud Service, fill the form out, put the filled out form into the Documents Cloud Service folder. It might initiate a process on the back end. That's where Process Cloud Service comes in. It's a platform as a service for business process management with core components of Workspace and Composer. They are similar to, but not exactly identical to, the BPM suite that Oracle offers. Consider the Process Cloud Service as a BPM light model, if you will, where there's replicated features, but it's not an exact duplicate of what BPM suite does. It's built for rapid process composition, quick time to market for delivery. Think of those processes that you do use every day that you might create departmentally, that you can run on Process Cloud Service and manage and own at the departmental level, and then integrate that with larger processes at the BPM suite level, at the enterprise level. You've got delivery through multiple channel interfaces, desktop and mobile, and the ability to be agile and scalable in the Process Cloud environment. So if we take that and you want to start digitizing your organization away from these manual processes at the departmental or even enterprise level, Process Cloud Service is a mechanism for doing that. It has a lot of value-add benefits that help get you to a solution quicker. Creating interfaces for mobile devices and desktops is very fast. It's building up the task list. Monitoring is a very positive aspect of this. And like I mentioned before, the Documents Cloud Service, integrating these Oracle Social Network for collaborating on the process while it's in flight of the process for the document, form, or data that you're working with is a powerful tool. Most of the things you see on there for the value add are the developer side, but the business end user, the context of which you're working with a process is key. And so collaboration on those components during that process is important. So if I interject the use case that we talked about moments ago where you remove email and document processing through your email system, check the document in through Documents Cloud Service, it initiates a process. You would collaborate on that process, and when that process is done, it's approved, maybe the final document gets pushed to WebCenter content, which could be an on-prem instance of WebCenter. There are additional use cases that Process Cloud Service can serve: collaborating on sales quotes, patient tracking for healthcare, loan origination, human resources onboarding, and even service ticket handling. It's a very time-to-market sensitive tool for rapid prototyping and development of that process, and in integrating with its open services and APIs to other cloud and or on-premise capabilities. So that kind of takes us to mobile, the third of our 4 topics from the cloud services capabilities. So mobile for the mobile cloud services basically it provides a service to develop a comprehensive strategy. And when we say comprehensive, when you see the next slide, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Mobile development platform and delivery. It gives you everything for the enterprise strategy for innovation, persona-based tools and services. It's a very mature set of products to take you from the engaging front-end experience via the mobile cloud service to develop the mobile platform and deploying it to devices and interacting with your back office systems. It's basically a highly mature and flexible, rich interface. So when you look at all the integration points that the platform has across the mobile frameworks, the native integrations and APIs to the software development kits, the support that it has for the open source and the development technologies, as well as the connectors for Documents Cloud Service and Process Cloud Service, you now have a fully built platform for creating that use case that I was talking about, where you might be integrating with your customers away from email and document management through email, through Documents Cloud Service, a process, and then pushing that process to your mobile device for approvals, reviews, updates, annotations, and working directly in mobile very quickly. Some of the use cases outside the one I was mentioning kind of target consumer engagement, customer self-service, and employee self-service. And a lot of the customer self-service stuff is where this is going to come into play as well. The example I was using, you may be one of your customers requesting a process to interact with you in some way, shape, or form, either internally or externally, via the mobile device. Empower you to complete those tasks through that process and still stay within the same framework and infrastructure between documents, process, and mobility. Last but not least, I want to talk about Sites Cloud Service, in that, let's say the use case is you might want to take those 3 items that we built together through that process, and you might want to push that to a consumption-only model and build a site based on that. Well, Oracle has Sites Cloud Service, which is that mobile-first digital experience, which is based upon the Oracle Sites, WebCenter Sites model. Of the 4, to be brutally honest, of the 4 that we've talked about, this is the least mature that's currently in the stack. However, it is rapidly changing. A lot of what we heard at OpenWorld with respect to the 12C model is more releases, richer releases, and with them being on the platform, they can deploy those quicker. So the Sites model here might take you to a microsite possibility, either a marketing microsite, a departmental microsite, campaigns, maybe you've got a United Way campaign, and maybe you interact with somebody externally to work on content that would show up within that microsite via the Process Cloud Service or the Documents Cloud Service. That ties that all together. And some of the features of the Oracle Sites Cloud Service might deal with structured content based on a form. You might create a form and work with that form directly. Maybe you're filling the form out and you kick off a process on the back end. Multilingual support, content categorizations, and association reference. So it's similar to what you see from WebCenter Sites if you're a WebCenter Sites customer, but right now it's a small percentage of what the Sites offering is. So when we take that together and you take these 4 elements, and if you're a customer that's been on WebCenter content or Stellent or worked your way to UCM, and you also are potentially a WebCenter portal customer, there's a lot of questions that come up that I've talked to customers about recently. And that is, when I take Oracle Cloud, and we take the cloud paradigm, what does that mean to what I have and where I might be going? So let's take it in the context of Portal Cloud and give you kind of a logical view of what that looks like. You might have an on-prem solution that looks like multiple environments for dev, test, stage, for either content or content and WebCenter portal in your environment, hooked up to your identity management. You might be tied into Google Search Appliance from our perspective, and you might push that under a 12C model to your production on-prem portal infrastructure. One of the great benefits you'll see that George and I will be talking about here shortly is the deployment model and the publish model under portal as it sits today. The second scenario you might deal with is you might deal with a production, portal, and content deployment that sits on a platform as a service model via Java Cloud Services. So you might do all your deployment, development, and testing and prepping stuff on-prem, and then you might push that to the cloud. That cloud model for portal and content might also integrate with the various cloud services I just talked about, be it Process Cloud Service, Document Cloud Service, Mobility, or even Sites. There are benefits of 12c, whether it's starting to merge portal and sites with respect to navigation, pages, and session management. So let's just give you an idea of where those integrations might be, and you can hybrid those integrations. You'll hear that term quite a bit between what's happening in the cloud and what's happening on-prem.
So Jerry, that was a lot of great information on various cloud services that Oracle's offering. Oracle's investing heavily in these cloud offerings. Let's just use the example of Oracle Document Cloud Service. So we know there's other enterprise file sync and share systems out there, Jerry. Why is Oracle positioned with Oracle Document Cloud Service better from an enterprise file sync and share than some of the other ones that you hear all the time, like Dropbox or Box, specifically if you're already an Oracle WebCenter customer?
It's the extension of those other cloud services and the social network capabilities for collaboration. You're not just getting in and putting a document someplace and possibly providing access to it. You might be kicking off a process. You might be pushing that to your portal on-prem. You might be sharing that link privately or publicly and providing just a kind of a carved-out area for that particular engagement.
Sure. So as we see going forward, you know, as these cloud solutions, they start to get rolled out, there's going to be more use cases that customers feel that the cloud offerings satisfy. And what you'll see is that these integration points, as Jerry kind of framed up with that last slide, is you're going to be able to further extend your Oracle on-prem investment in content and portal. And now I'm going to turn it over to George Sokol.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, everybody. So I've got the bulk of the slides here, and we want to make sure we stay on time. So I'm going to go through this in a fairly fast clip. As Jason, I believe, said at the top of the hour, any of this, you can call us, contact us. We'd be happy to host a private session, demonstration of some of this, as well as discussions on, you know, where we see this going. So we'll go to the next slide, please. So for most of you on the call, you're a content customer, and so one of the most exciting announcements leading into OpenWorld was the release of Oracle WebCenter 12c. There are a couple of things that we and customers of ours had been waiting for with this release, so very pleased to see it. There are three key themes with 12c that I'm going to cover. The first is focus on the UI. That continues to be a consistent concern among customers, particularly rolling this out to end users, making it very simple, easy to use, and sort of in tone with current offerings that maybe have been designed a little bit later and a little bit more modern. The second, so we spent the first part of this talking about Oracle's movement to the cloud, and that obviously was a big theme of OpenWorld this year. But we're going to talk a little bit about how on-premise customers can possibly utilize that with what you currently have. And then finally, there's a couple of pieces, components related to infrastructure and integration, migration of content. I'll cover those as well. Next slide, please. So we'll start here by talking a little bit about the UI options. So one of the things available with 12c is that Oracle has released a new version of the UI that's commonly referred internally as the quote-unquote Alta skin, right? Some of our customers are already using the previous version of this product. I will note, by the way, that there are some caveats with it, with the previous version and still going into the current version. Well, in my opinion, where Oracle is right now is they've got a very nice interface for new customers. For existing customers, however, you'll want to take a close look and make sure that there's no loss of functionality or user adoption, user education issues you'll have to deal with. But anyway, the first couple of key things about the new UI is that, first of all, it is very crisp and clean. They've removed a lot of the clutter. So if you're, for example, not using a lot of the core features of the WebCenter content product, they simply don't appear as an end user. Secondly, there's more movement of storing files in a library, folder type infrastructure. And so that theme resonates as you're using the product. It also supports drag and drop content from your desktop directly into the browser. And what's really cool about this is you can drag and drop multiple files. Key thing is the ability to, the way they've integrated the viewer. The viewer is a lot more capable. I'll talk about how capable in one of the next slides. And then finally, where Oracle is moving with this is a mobile-first paradigm. So there is still a WebCenter app, and I suspect that'll continue for quite some time. But the key idea here is that the same application URL that you're accessing from your desktop, that will be able to work well from whatever device, wherever you're at, and still be highly functional and highly usable. So I just mentioned the mobile client, the mobile UI. Some key features here on the mobile device. We'll start, first of all, what does it run on? I'm going to kind of go reverse order here. So it'll run on the latest Apple iOS, Android, right? Some of the improvements they've made to the product is now you have the ability to have files available for offline access. That was one of the key components there. You were inside the repository, but maybe you needed the price list or the standard policies and procedures for, to do your job. You now can have direct access to the content server, mark items as favorites, and even download those files so that you have access to them when you're not connected via Wi-Fi or some kind of internet connection. Also, they've made it much easier to browse and preview the files with metadata, kind of akin with the modern UI look and feel I talked about previously. Easier to manage files and folders and create and upload documents, which was very, very limited in the previous versions of this. And then finally, full workflow participation. So not only having access to the list of the workflows, but to get into the details of the content item forwarded to you and approve or reject all from that mobile device. I talked a little bit about the integration of a new viewer within WebCenter Content 12c. And essentially, for those of you who are IPM customers or WebCenter imaging customers, right, you're familiar with the imaging viewer that's embedded in that product. Well, that's essentially what Oracle has done here, is they've taken the next generation of that viewer and have embedded it into the core content server interface. By the way, Fishbowl, we've done this ourselves for many of our customers, actually, but now that was always a custom services implementation. Now it's a key core part of the product. And this allows you not only to view the content through a browser, over 400 different file types, by the way, it also allows you to participate in commenting and annotations and secure those annotations. So, for example, if it's a contract management application and you're sharing access to this with end users or in some cases even partners, you can control who sees the internal comments, who can make those comments, and then also control whether those comments get burned in or removed when you actually end up with the final version of the document. Along the same theme, Oracle is very heavily focused. They've heard you, and many of us, by the way, I'll add, very focused on making the way they expose the content much more palatable through their other applications. And in this particular case, probably the one that I'm most excited about right now is WebCenter Portal. So real common complaint, particularly with early Portal customers, is they had a very basic document library, portlet. Yes, you'd be able to upload and download documents, search for documents, but it was very, very limited in actually how you could use it, and pretty much unusable for collaboration, for example, or any kind of workflow process. So as you can see, it's kind of tiny here, but here they've made that integration a little bit more flexible, a little bit more functional. So now you can do things like deal with the revision management. You can get the links. You can decide which version of a document is actually going to be displayed in the portal. Very key, by the way, if we're talking about digital assets like images. You might have specific video files or graphic files that you want specifically for the portal. And if you're a digital asset management customer with WebCenter, you might have 12 different images. So they've really have improved that UI that's exposed to the portal a tremendous amount. So, if you joined at the top of the hour and you thought maybe you joined the wrong session because it's all about cloud, well, maybe this will help built on top of what Jerry already covered, which I thought was a really good example of how you use cloud to extend portal and content. Here are some specific things that will help you understand what you can do with the Universal Content Management System or WebCenter content. So the goal here with Oracle's cloud strategy as it pertains to WebCenter is to be able to support businesses, whether it's a complete on-premise implementation, whether it's using Document Cloud Service, or they actually are using a hybrid of the two. So the focus is making the integration between those two better, right? Being able to harmonize what appears on your cloud with your partners and your customers, what's stored internally, being able to very easily share files that you've generated internally like a contract or NDA to an external audience, as well as give you multiple options for how that's hosted. Is it a public cloud? Is it a private cloud? Etc. I'm going to start here because this is kind of a good entryway into what Oracle's actually done. So these three use cases, by the way, are very, very common use cases for WebCenter. These are use cases, by the way, that are at the heart of the content service success. We've been doing projects built around these three since the company was founded virtually in 1999. The first is facilitating business partner enterprise collaboration, right? You have contracts, usually it's going through multiple revisions. Most people use email. It's always confusing. Which version did I send to the partner and they marked up and they sent back to me? Very inefficient. The next is around sales service collaboration. That's usually more inward focused with your own employees, making sure that they have the right information, the right price list, the right presentation, being able to facilitate sharing assets with customers, right, during the sales process. And the last one is also very common, support for mobile field workers. In the little image there is a guy who, might work for a power company, but we've seen this in public sector where caseworkers are out in the field. We've seen this in insurance where, there's actually agents out talking with customers. So there's a real need there as well to make sure that they have access to the most important relevant information, whether they're directly working on-premise or remote or connected or not. And these are really good examples of how a hybrid cloud use case might help you. So one of the key new features of WebCenter 12c is the integration of Oracle's Document Cloud Service right into the core UI. So here, as this slide is showing a screenshot of WebCenter content. We see this in the newer UI, where we see the list of folders and users in a library. And in those folders, you now have the ability, when you're creating the folder, to specify, is this a typical library folder, or is this a cloud folder? By specifying that it's a cloud folder, it will actually connect to Oracle Document Cloud Service and allow you to visually see and access and work with any content that is actually in the cloud. So this is great. It facilitates external collaboration, where you would do the external collaboration with a customer or partner through a website, but then also makes it easier to pull that collaboration internally to WebCenter once you've arrived at the final version of the document. Another development with WebCenter 12c are some key advances with capture. So we'll start here with working with WebCenter content and cloud services, and now support the ability to import email, scan images, integrate from desktop applications directly to the cloud. So this, again, if you're working with an external customer, for example, you're trying to work on terms of an NDA, a contract. They have it's a very natural action for them to access the cloud, open up the file directly from the cloud, maybe import an email and attach that with a contract or a document that they want to scan, or also your own internal employees might benefit from that action as well. The last thing here around mirroring with the cloud that I'll cover is the ability to actually do two-way sync and essentially mirror the content between your internal instances of WebCenter content and what's on the cloud and any other service that we've talked about. This can be done through one of two ways again. I've already mentioned one, and that is natively the application has the ability to pull a version of a file off the cloud, check it into the content server. And there's also a product called SkySync that we've actually worked with now with a couple of customers that will not only synchronize content two ways with the cloud and UCM, but it'll also work with many, many other popular file sharing services on the web, Box.net, Office 365, Dropbox, etc. So I'll give you a good use case of why you might want to do that. If I'm a marketing team, right, and I've got a program that I'm rolling out in the fall, and I've got multiple different feeds out on the web that I'm sharing this content through, this can be an effective means of collaborating on that content internally, and then when I'm ready to roll that program out, automatically push not only the original versions of that content to my multiple entities on the web, but also ensure that I'm keeping those documents in sync if they should change internally. Last here, we'll focus on infrastructure and migration. One of the key items that some of us actually have been waiting since 2003, which some of you may note is roughly around the period when Stellent actually acquired Accorday. And that is the final integration of what previously has been called IPM or WebCenter imaging today into the core UI of the content server. So one of the first things that I'll note here is that with 12c, you will no longer have to have a separate server, a separate application to actually access any invoice images or customer documents or any other information that you've been keeping in IPM. That will now be exposed through the core interface of Oracle WebCenter content. There'll now be a single interface where users will be able to access folders and images and other documents managed by that service. So it really helps organizations that want to cut down on the number of application interfaces and really kind of consolidate their access to their enterprise content. Another key thing is to support this, the import processor of IPM is going away. It's actually replaced in 12c with the enterprise capture import processor. All right, so it's interesting to note that you get a limited use license of enterprise capture specifically for that one component. And then lastly, for those of you who might be concerned for upgrades, and I'll talk a little bit more about upgrades later, managed attachment framework, it's being managed so that it's isolated from any of these upgrade dependencies. So if you're using managed attachments on EBS, PeopleSoft, Siebel, you should be fine from an upgrade perspective. And to add on to that upgrade perspective, some customers, I'm thinking of customers like Home Depot and Best Buy, which have billions of images within their implementations. Some of these customers, it's going to take a while to upgrade all their various components. So to be able to support this, if you're currently on a Oracle IPM 11G foundation, right, you can upgrade your back-end servers and your infrastructure, and those 11G servers will continue to function fine and be able to access and view those images. So it's not a one-stop upgrade. You have to upgrade the entire infrastructure. This will greatly facilitate people who want to do rolling upgrades across different components of their infrastructure. There have been some changes with capture in general. The first of these is a product called Oracle Document Capture has been deprecated. Now, many of our customers have been using that for various different purposes, both with Oracle UCM as well as IPM. The product's still under support, right? And we have many customers still happily using it effectively, but the product has now been superseded by a new product that Oracle has released called Enterprise Capture. So I'm not going, this was actually done sometime about a year ago, 2014. Be happy to talk to you more about the differences at some other time, but we'll just focus on some of the enhancements of the product for now. So Enterprise Capture has added a number of new features. It now it has a client-side application that can be used not only to scan images into Oracle WebCenter, but also is more geared towards attachments. And those attachments can be non-image files, so like an email, for example, or a Word document, or an Office document. So this greatly facilitates customers who are using this product from more of a scenario where you're submitting packages of information and you want that entire package checked into the content server, of which maybe only one or two files are actually in an image file or something that you scan. And this ties in hand to hand. So one of the other enhancements of the product is to import those other image files as attachments to the original file. So again, as the example I gave before, if you're doing some kind of claims processing or new customer ordering process, like we have a customer, for example, that sells insurance through AARP and Reader's Digest, and people will fill in a form and they'll submit a check, and maybe they'll also provide some other documentation. As that information comes in, those files are scanned, and there has to be some sort of link through the metadata. Well, with the new release of Enterprise Capture, it can automatically scan all of those files and automatically determine what should be attached to the primary file that's being ingested. And then finally here, just some three key components of the core product, ones that we think are going to affect most of our customers here. For digital asset management, finally, Oracle has released support for Telestream's Vantage product. If you're using Flip Factory, and we have many of you who we've worked with over the years to deploy and support that for video conversion, thumbnailing a video, that product actually has been deprecated now for about 2 years. And the company that makes that Telestream released a new product called Vantage, but there was no integration provided by Oracle, that is, with WebCenter content. With 12c, that issue's been rectified, and anybody who wants to upgrade from Flip Factory to Vantage or look at the video conversion, you now have a really good option. Desktop Integration Suite now supports drag and drop for folders inside not only the desktop, but also within Outlook. So importing email using the Desktop Integration Suite has been improved. And then finally, trash support is now built in directly to the native UI. So some people were wondering, well, how come I have it in the Desktop Integration Suite, but I can't actually restore a deleted file from within the core interface? That now has been rectified. And then finally, what would an Oracle new product overview be without a list of deprecated items? Many of these should be no surprise. Some of these actually have been deprecated, whatever the word is, for quite some time. So, for example, Information Rights Management, or IRM, that I think it was like 4 years ago now, but that's been deprecated. But Oracle did keep it around for a while. Now it's officially off the price list. Content Portlet Suite, that's been dropped in favor of the new integration with WebCenter Portal. Same thing with SharePoint Web Parts. Content Dynamic Converter Template Editor. So as I understand it, you can still use the old style of creating templates for Dynamic Converter, but the plugin that Oracle used to provide for actually creating those templates has now been removed from the product. The next item here, for those of you using Content Tracker, I want to make sure you understand it's only the reports. Oracle has decided to stop maintaining those, as anybody who deploys this functionality typically wants to build their own reports, so they're no longer providing those out-of-the-box reports. Universal Records Management Adapters. So when URM, or Universal Records Management, was first released, a key part of that strategy was to support integration with third-party applications. That has actually been removed. And so actually I'm looking at the time here. With this, I'm going to transfer back to Jason, and thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, George. This is Jerry. I'll take it from here and talk a little bit about the portal side for a few moments. Under 12.2.1, following the digital experience and engagement model that Oracle is pushing, there are kind of four primary themes: the ease of use for the business side and the developer side, the multi-channel engagement via the devices, the connected data and the out-of-the-box wizards and integration points for improving the experience and pushing data through there, and the hybrid solutions, the on-prem, the cloud, the various cloud services I talked about earlier. Quick highlights from the new capabilities on the business side, or the business user perspective of using the portal. A few ones of note: the tablet-first responsive design, that multi-channel. We're seeing it more and more where customers are asking us, the lines are being blurred between the desktop, the tablet, and the phone, and I want to manage content and manage my portal. How can I do that? The multi-channel changes helps that. The wizard-driven data integration and the Oracle Stack integrations with respect to BPM, BI, and SOA, cleaner, neater, more appropriate than they have been in the past. And like George showed you earlier, that ECM functionality directly embedded in the content UI. So from a business user's perspective, I can work with my portal, and the power user can deal with these pages, deal with the content integration even cleaner. On the developer administrator side, you see a lot of the same kind of things: attack ease of use, multi-channel and hybrid solutions. A couple that stand out, John will be talking about, but I'll point out the new technology to support how the front end works with the Bootstrap themes, the new Portal REST APIs, and the way we integrate Portal with these other external systems. And the ability to help manage the life cycle of working with your portal, easier to push, deal with page templates and pages and moving those between environments. Now all those assets get carried along as part of a normal propagation between the environments. From an upgrade summary perspective, there have been some things changed. The upgrade from 11G to 12G is much cleaner, neater, and automated, with an automated report that goes in there. There has been some deprecated items as well. Some things of note: the work list has been replaced with the BPM work list, web clipping used with Pagely Producer, etc. Some examples of deprecated items: the Oracle Portal Adapter, the Activity Graph, WebSphere support, just to name a few. But we can say that integration and that upgrade is a lot cleaner than it has been in the past, and so we're pretty happy to see that happen. It looks like there's much better instructions for making that work. And just to kind of drive from an Oracle 12c perspective, not only are we a services design, structure, roadmap, UX firm, we can also deal with those value-add services from the upgrade and migration perspective, our software and components on the content portal side, the technology roadmaps. We want to make sure that you're using the technology as appropriately as possible for your use cases, and then that enterprise support to close things out on the back end after things have been delivered.
Jerry and George, for when we get to ask that question, when should we move, when should we upgrade to 12C, what's some of the things that we just tell people from a high-level general response with that question?
Yeah, I can start that, George. I've had that conversation many times since OpenWorld started, but there's several qualifying questions. What's the complexity of the environment and the customizations you have in that environment? What are the features that you're trying to take advantage of under 12C? If you're a net new customer and .9 was there and you're worried about the 12C rollout, Oracle spent a lot of time making sure that the 12C version is a lot cleaner than previous versions in the past. Personally, I've had some experiences through 11G I'd rather not go through again. So based on what I've seen, a positive step forward, and that migration model kind of depends on the complexity of your environment and the things that you're looking to take advantage of.
Real quick to Jerry's statement, for net new customers, tends to be a really good path forward. For existing customers, we often recommend we install the test environment. We test, you test out, make sure that all the functionality you're looking for is there before proceeding.
All right, John.
Perfect. Thanks. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jerry. Right. So I'm going to start off with the Oracle's Alta UI. Although it's not new to the ADF world, it is new and integrated with the release of WebCenter Portal 12c. It has a fully redesigned, simplified user interface component set that is designed to bring a clean and fresh user interface that follows the modern and popular flat design approach used by many leaders of web applications like Google and Twitter. One of the great features of Alta is that it now has multi-device support through responsive design with flowing page layouts and improved mobile design interaction capabilities. Oracle's philosophy and key principles for Alta are design for mobile first, keep layout simple and uncluttered, provide a clear information hierarchy, and enable users with more visual content. So this is a complete 360 for Oracle, really, where they're now focusing on the user experience rather than overloading users with options and content. And you can see this with our new apps and releases. On top of that, they're providing all of those benefits to you within the Alta UI to enable your teams to develop and extend existing applications and improve the overall user experience with your custom developed apps. So one of the key announcements over our OpenWorld this year was a release of Oracle Jet, Oracle's JavaScript extension toolkit, a set of open source libraries and frameworks combined with Oracle's new core framework to support the MVVM architecture design pattern. This enables modern front-end web designers to create highly optimized, fast and responsive single-page applications for mobile and desktop devices. On top of that, it uses the Alta UI, which has been recreated for front-end application development outside of ADF. Now, the plan is that the Jet framework will be open sourced and available on the Git repository. But today you will need either an MCS or JCS license to actually use that with your applications going forward today. You're probably thinking there's another framework to learn, and what's going to be your right approach for you? We've got ADF Faces, Jet, and Mobile Application Framework. So in my eyes, ADF and MAP are designed for backend developers who are not UI experts and like the capability to drag and drop pre-developed user interface components and write in the backend logic to create applications very fast and effectively within JDeveloper. Now, Jet is more for front-end developers who care about brand, design, and user interface functionality and want to create custom components that wouldn't be very easy to create within ADF, that possibly a third-party design agency has envisioned. Now, Jet also comes with a component set like ADF to allow developers who are familiar with Bootstrap or material design to set up the core interface and customize or extend its functionality. Jet is also being targeted for the cloud marketplace and also corporate app store soon to be released that will allow Max, Oracle's mobile application accelerator. This is their new mobile web-based IDE, and Site Cloud Service to reuse custom developed Jet components across the cloud platform. So that means partners like Fishbowl can now develop Jet applications and get them hosted within the Oracle Marketplace, and then you can purchase these components from the Oracle Marketplace and deploy them direct to Max or Site Cloud Service. So one of the things I'm going to show you today in our demo is one of our custom integrations that we call our Fishbowl Modular Single Page Application Framework. This allows you to combine the best parts of the Jet front end with the best parts of ADF to develop hybrid task flows that can be developed agnostically to the cloud, portal, content, or even a non-Oracle application like SharePoint. One of the task flows that we've created with this approach is our agnostic Cloud Sync solution, currently sitting on WebCenter Portal, but can be deployed to the cloud, WebCenter content, or other container. So the challenges that we're seeing today with many organizations, including us at Fishbowl, is that there are a lot of accessible digital asset management repositories, on-prem and off, whether your organization has SharePoint, Portal, Cloud, Dropbox, or Google Drive. And so we've created the capability using Jet and ADF to create a searchable content aggregator where you can search and find the assets from all of these different DAM platforms from one location, map metadata, and manage that content seamlessly from a single user interface, enabling seamless collaboration from multiple platforms. Here's a quick overview. We currently have our Cloud Sync task flow. It's linked up with Google Drive, Oracle Docs, and Dropbox, and they're capable of extending and integrating with other repositories, such as SharePoint or Adobe Drive. Now, our core repository behind the scenes that manages the metadata and all of this content syncing is our on-prem WebCenter content environment. And the core features that I'm going to show is drag and drop collaboration, syncing of content from these third-party platforms, and managing metadata direct from within Portal that's hosted within WebCenter content. On top of that, searching with the use of GSA, so the Google Search Appliance, or with the out-of-the-box WebCenter content search tool. As an added bonus, if you have GSA, you can also search against all of these other platforms and find and link assets directly within Portal. And then finally, I'm going to show you some faceted filtering of content, and this is all handled within our centralized UI. So I'm going to take over now, and I'm going to give you guys a quick demo of the solution. So what you should see in front of you now is this is our skinned up environment of WebCenter Portal. We've created this dummy template here. It's responsive. We're using WebCenter Portal 11G here. We didn't have time to port this across to 12C yet. But what I'm going to show you is that task flow, our Cloud Sync solution. And now this is sitting on top of the Jet framework. And again, I can deploy this onto WebCenter content, this user interface that you're seeing here. But first of all, what do you see here? And we've got a list of documents. And these are my recently checked in documents that are listed out here. So if I go across to WebCenter content, you're all familiar with this classic user interface. And so basically, I'm just outputting the standard search results here. Now, what I have on top of this is I can preview these search results. So if I just click on the preview here, you can see that I've generated a quick preview sample, and very similar to Google Drive, I can actually loop through and see these other examples. And I can also preview and play video and audio streams. On top of that, I have the ability to drag and drop content in. So if I drag and drop this mockup file, you'll see it's being uploaded into WebCenter content here. And after it's being converted, you'll see a preview of that document. Now, whilst that's converting, I'll just go through some of the other options that we've provided as part of this solution. So down the bottom here, you can see some icons, and these are my action items against this document. So I can download the native, view a web rendition, I can tag the document, I can delete all of the revisions or a single revision, I can email the link out, or I can view the content info and update the metadata associated to it. So here's the metadata associated to that document. And you can see over here on the left that that file is now being converted, and I can click on preview and see a preview of that document. On top of that, we've got this cloud linking solution, so the ability to aggregate content from multiple platforms. So if I click on Cloud Link, you'll see we've got set up at the moment our Oracle Cloud integration, Google Drive, and Dropbox. So if I click on Google Drive, you'll see through single sign-on, I've got access to my Drive documents, which are listed here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Oracle Docs, and you can see in line on the page, we've got our Oracle Docs user interface, which is just here. Again, if I click over here, this is what Oracle Docs looks like out of the box with full screen. But if I go across to our Portal environment, you can see we've got this inline capability. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to contribute a document. So this example meeting minutes, I'm going to tick that and click OK. And it's automatically going to sync across to this Portal user interface. And you can see it's available here. And if I click on it, I can go and preview it, and it'll open it up directly within Oracle Docs. So it's not duplicating the document, it's creating a reference to that document. We've also got faceted filtering. So if I wanted to filter by document type, And I'm just going to filter by our cloud documents. Hit refresh your view, you'll see that a list of the cloud documents are returned. So we've got inline search capabilities there. And this is just our standard task flow, but with a JET framework handling the user interface on top of that with our own custom skin. So that's our cloud integration. So I hand over to you, Jason, to finish up.
Thanks, John. Very cool stuff. So thanks for sticking with us again, everyone. We're a little bit over, so again, apologies for that, but hopefully what you got out of this was a lot of good information about what we learned at OpenWorld and how you could start to think about applying some of this stuff to your content, collaboration, and cloud strategies for 2016. So just a quick recap for you. Jerry talked about 4 different cloud offerings. Started off talking about Oracle Documents Cloud Service and how you can enhance document collaboration with that. Also talked about the mobile cloud service, speeding app development and integration. You heard about a little bit about Sites Cloud Service to enable customers to create mobile-first digital experiences, and as well as Process Cloud Service, how it offers a robust yet simple method to create and initiate business processes. We also heard from George on WebCenter 12c. Hopefully, I think a lot of you actually joined the webinar today because you wanted to learn more about what's coming in WebCenter 12c. And so hopefully we're able to provide a good recap for you, showing you the new interface that can be leveraged, how there's a hybrid cloud integration now between on-prem and what's offered in Oracle Document Cloud Service, as well as the new features and capabilities added to some of the infrastructure components with capture, imaging, digital asset management, and desktop integration suite. And then you just heard from John, and John talked about the recent advancements in the user experience with Oracle. John mentioned a total 360 from an Oracle perspective. They're focusing a lot now on digital experience and front-end user design. We're continuing to move to a digital world, so this is where customers want that engagement, that engaging, personalized experience across their devices. And with that modern layout and UI that we highlighted with the Alta UI now and the other components that are available for that front-end design, you're going to be able to create applications and experiences that drive interest, adoption, and revenue. And so with that, to kind of finish off here, Fishbowl's offering has some offers that we wanted to mention to you. If you're looking for some more guidance on a cloud strategy or roadmap with Oracle, the cloud offerings, or Oracle WebCenter 12c, we have 2 programs in place. George, you want to speak about those quickly?
Yeah, just real quickly, we are partnering with Oracle to come in organizations looking to design, develop their strategy around Oracle's various cloud offerings. We also do this with Jerry and John and other people on the team. And the last thing is we're happy at any time to work with you and provide you an upgrade assessment recommendation. We're currently doing that now with multiple customers. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So again, I want to thank everyone for attending. I did want to leave you with another resource. So a lot of the information we gathered today all came from Oracle OpenWorld with the sessions we attended. Most of those sessions that we attended are available online. So after OpenWorld was held, and all the presenters from Oracle, customer presentations, most of them have been uploaded. Just simply go to the link that I provided there or search for Oracle OpenWorld 2015. And there's a content catalog for any of the sessions that we covered today. You want more information, you can download those presentations. If you're looking for any more information regarding Fishbowl Solutions, here's some links that you can follow up with us directly, and you can always email or call us directly as well. And again, I want to thank everyone for attending. This will conclude today's webinar, and we hope to talk with you again soon. Thanks, everyone.